we are going to be meeting a representative from disco, the disco effect, turning music catalogs into opportunity engines. We're going to be hearing from a representative who's going to be speaking about how the music industry's leading platforms for organizing, sharing, and presenting catalogs in a simple and efficient way can be of extreme benefit. We're going to be talking with Katrina Balcius, right? Thank you. Nice to meet you, Tree. And you've come with someone, you've come accompanied, fellow.
Yeah, I'm the intern.
Oh, I didn't have it here on the. No, no, it's one serious. Surprise guest? Yeah. Unexpected. Yeah, an unexpected show. Very typical of Primavera sound. Well, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're.
Start a little early.
Yeah, no, we're on time. Yeah. That way we have more time to enjoy the other activities here. Katrina, tell us a little bit about the disco effect.
Yes. Well, I think what would be helpful to know is who already knows about disco. Oh, okay.
Disco in
Excellent.
general, the phenomenon of disco, that like a club that plays dance
okay.
music, or what are you?
No. So that's why we're here to educate. I'm glad
Thank you.
that we can see that this is new for people. So disco is a platform that the music industry uses to store assets. But it's kind of like an entire workflow solution. So we're industry standard in sync. Labels, publishers, sync reps, managers use it to receive music from artists, find songs quickly, and edit metadata and pitch out. And maybe, Carl, you could talk a little bit about why you started disco.
Yeah.
And then that can help conceptualize it.
So disco for an artist is essentially like a sexy Dropbox, but at the same time, then for a Universal, we host the entire front line of their catalog there. So there's 140 million files that are actually on the platform.
Jesus.
So it is the industry standard for basically anyone as a B2B activity. If you're sharing music as an artist to your manager or to your publisher or onto your record label, you'll be doing that on disco, because the people that are receiving it are invariably using it as well to manage their music. Disco was born from, I'm a music supervisor, so I've been doing music supervision in Australia for over 20 years, and I lost my iTunes collection 3 times. I've said enough's enough. The things that were out there didn't really impress me. They didn't really understand workflow, and particularly workflow people that work inside the music industry. So we started building our own platform, essentially first of our music supervision team, and then we took it over to LA and started introducing it to other music supervisors in LA. So that was around 8 years ago or so. And since then, now we've gone to pretty much literally every music supervisor that is here that's working utilizes disco as a place that they use to manage their music files. So that's where we've got to, but that's sort of, we're nearly at the starting line with everything that we've got so far. So the next important step for us is the ability then to have your music searchable and discoverable, not just as a private place that you own, that you have your music, but there where then other people can discover it. So that's where we've got just the disco catalogues, and we'll jump into that now.
Yep. Well, before we do that, I just also, to piggyback off of Carl, like, there's so many parts of our catalogs and workflow that's very fragmented, and disco is helping consolidate the functionalities of these tools into one. So Dropbox, SoundCloud, iTunes, MailChimp, watermarking, all of that doesn't need to be spread out everywhere. It's a centralized place for that. And because most of the music industry is on it, it creates this ecosystem of ease of sending back and forth.
I liked how you summed it up, like kind of like a Dropbox specifically for people to upload their music.
Yeah.
Is it encrypted? Because if I'm an artist and I've got like the demo for my next album and I only want my manager to hear it, he's in Sydney, I'm in New York.
Yep.
It's safe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the sorts of companies that are there that are using our platform are people like PlayStation. If you have a look at the names there, so as an artist, you're receiving exactly the same security that Fox gets, that Amazon gets, that Apple gets. So you can have it watermarked, you can have it traceable, you can have that the file expires after a certain amount of time. But most importantly too, it's actually been made for music. So there's a whole heap of features. I haven't seen Katrina's deck, so I'm interested to see where we go, but there's a number of features there that's also around metadata and all of the other things I'm sure have been themes so far today. But back to you, Katrina.
Yeah. Yeah, so the point of being at the Idea Showroom today is to talk about a specific part of disco. So we've talked about it's where you're living and breathing to store your catalog and sending out pitches that look like this. Way sexier than a Dropbox like icon, right? This is like telling the story of the artist, of the release. You can have all of your socials in one spot, securely watermarked, and then your beautiful player that auto plays the songs, which might not seem like a big deal, but absolutely is. And then you can have a video connected to the release. So this is what most labels, artist managers are sending out.
Yeah.
And you can get stats on this. So that's super important to be able to understand what songs are resonating with people. How should I reach back out to a certain client and send them more stuff? So talking about maximizing catalogs, um, if you can't find your music, then you can't pitch your music. And then that's songs that are just sitting there
Yeah.
collecting dust.
I'm glad you mentioned the one that crashed for you 3 times. I'm not going to repeat it. I don't want to get in trouble, but it has the worst search engine in the world because it's so case sensitive. And if you don't put like, I don't know, you know how sometimes you just type in, yeah, it's hard to find certain things if you're not very specific, which is a nuisance. Please.
Yeah. So especially people with large catalogs, having everything tagged.
Uh-huh.
We have lyric transcription.
Yeah.
A lot of catalogs we see, like, no one's putting lyrics in the metadata. And that is definitely losing an opportunity, especially in sync, because 90% of briefs have some sort of lyric reference.
Yeah.
So if I don't know what I have, I just lost an opportunity. Can't pitch to it because I don't know what I have.
Because how many, like, you know, like a typical mom situation, like, oh, what's that song that goes, I want to see you in the moonlight, you know, and that's their reference, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So maybe let me toggle over to actual disco. So maybe I am like, oh, something with moonlight. What was it? And again, I don't know if anything's going to come up. I'm just riffing on your example. Yes, there are things that came up. So let me zoom in a little bit. So these are songs that I've saved in my catalog. So I can be like, yeah, that's the song I want. Can drag it into a playlist. And then if we switch over to what a music supervisor, how they would use disco, they would type in Moonlight and then see all of these tracks from other rights holders. So kind of think of this like a Spotify for sync. It's like, okay, I need Dua Lipa, but I don't have a Dua Lipa budget. I could also put a reference track from YouTube in and find similar sounding songs.
Uh-huh.
So I can see. Actually, I want to do
So,
another.
and I think the important thing here is that this is where the music supervisor actually works. So they're not going off to another marketplace. This is actually where all of their collection is. But what you see fed in underneath that is every publicly searchable catalog that is on Disco. So at the time that they're looking for a song about Moonlight, it actually comes in, so they don't have to step out of their workflow. And that's sort of like a really key part of the Disco network.
So I switched. Now I wanted some cumbia. So I can see there is a cumbia song from Terrorbird, which is a sync agency in the States. I can see who to contact for licensing. So if I go to a different discovery platform a la Spotify, I have no idea who controls that music, right? And then it's like this rabbit hole and this waste of time trying to find it. But I know Josh is my contact. There's his email. I can shoot him a note and be like, I'm interested in licensing this for a commercial, yada, yada, start the conversation from there and just drag the music in. Then I can keep going down the rabbit hole and finding similar songs that sound like this one. So again, this is just like these little breadcrumbs to find music based on what I need at this very moment. Anything else you want to add to this? Okay, cool. So this is a feed of opted-in catalogs for discovery. But you can have like individual storefronts, if you will. There isn't any direct licensing happening here. It's just a discovery spot. So if I'm a supervisor, I could go in here and be like, Maps Music. This is also an amazing sync agency in the States. I think they did a really good job with their catalog. So this is its own website. I can link it in a newsletter, in my email signature. I think the point of these is to like always keep your catalog top of mind and accessible to music buyers. So from here, you have different tracks that are featured. So whatever is a priority at the moment, have featured playlists based on trends and themes. Can have albums that are coming out and featured artists. And because everything has lyrics, it's tagged, it's a really good user experience for the buyer. Because they can go in and they're like, I need something cool and I need it to have female vocals. Can see what comes up, click into a track, scrub through it, and I can just send a licensing request form from here. So it's starting the conversation, reducing another email. What Carl said, it's like baked into the workflow that supervisors are in like 10 hours a day.
So, and say I'm a music supervisor for an ad agency. Would I open like a profile like I would on WeTransfer or something? If I want to have like a premium service, can I pay for a premium service to have advanced engines?
Yeah, so for supervisors, we have subscriptions that are based on storage rather than tracks. Just with so much of the music they have, they don't own it, and they just get so much. So yeah, a supervisor or a rights holder, whoever, would have a back end disco like this that would have all of their catalog or library organized by folders. And then they're receiving music from partners from inboxes. And maybe you talk about this because this is the whole reason you created Disco.
Yeah. So the big pain point for a music supervisor prior to Disco was the very simple basic task of uploading and downloading music. So, and that still exists today. So it doesn't matter even if you're getting a file from a platform that might have been set up for the purpose of music. If you're sending it to a music supervisor, they've got to actually download it and then add it back into their Disco. So the best way to do it is to have either a Disco link, or the supervisor will often send off with their brief a Disco inbox. And that's what we're looking at there. And that's where you can then upload music and send it directly to them. So the supervisor then receives the music. It means it's not lost. And most importantly too, for a supervisor, it's not necessarily about that brief or about that actual job. It's about the fact that your music is now inside their Disco. And it could be that in 8 months' time, 2 years' time, that song that wasn't quite right for that particular job then turns up for something else. Because there are a lot of themes that are consistently come up for, different categories, be it car ads or fast food or whatever it may be. So that's from a TV commercial point of view. But then similar things also around film and TV too. So the really important thing is just you need to get your music into a supervisor's Disco account and get it into their collection. And once it's there, then you increase the chances of actually unlocking the value in it and possibly getting a sync.
So what you've said is you can tailor make your catalog, shall we say, by typing in all kinds of information so that the search engine can find things easier, right? For other.
Let's give a visual for that. So metadata is all indexed here. So that's how we're finding things. So if I go into the metadata of this song, metadata is one of those things that's like not sexy at all and nobody wants to do it, but it is so important because this is a direct correlation to getting paid for something.
They said the same thing to me about algebra. I still have to do the same in my life. So okay, you're going to have to do better. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, you don't like money?
I love money, but that's why I don't have any, because I never studied algebra.
Yeah, exactly. So at the bare minimum, you have to have these fields applied: title, artist, album, composer, writer splits. Comments usually has contact details. And then lyrics, of course. This is an instrumental, so it's not going to have it. Writer splits, tags. So all of this, when it gets delivered to a supervisor or a manager or an A&R, whoever you're pitching to, when it lands in their Disco, and even if they're still using iTunes, gasp, but they might be, and you do a search, it's going to come up. So it might, as Carl said, it might not be an opportunity that someone needs right now. And the goal is always like a license or a cut. But I think an important goal is to just get the music saved into the workplace that a buyer is, because they're gonna find it some
Yeah.
point. So yeah, so all of these can be searchable for them. And then if you do send a pitch like this, it's the save to disco that makes that download, upload irrelevant now. So they just port it over one click.
It definitely looks way more attractive because, I work as a music journalist and every day my inbox is full with promo sheets, right? From all the labels, all the promotional managers. And I sometimes lament that they don't go straight to the point. We still get the same old-fashioned text of
Yep.
that you could just sort of change the band name and it doesn't matter. The text is usually the same.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much more, such a large quantity compared to years ago. Now there's so many tracks, new music each day, new artists, and sometimes you need something quicker than an elevator pitch. And
Hopefully,
that's a very yeah.
if you could get these, right?
I'm getting the vibe of the band from the photo.
Exactly.
I'm getting a quick video link to see what they're like live. I'm getting this is good.
Okay, so we need
makes
to
my
get
life easier.
you a disco, because then you can have all of the labels, the promo teams, just send those artist pages to this feed for you. So this is an inbox. So this would be like new stuff from Partisan, new stuff from Beggars, blah, blah, blah. And then you can just listen to them here in Disco. There's also a mobile app. So if you're like on a walk, on a hike, you can listen to the tracks and then make playlists from here on what you like. So we'll get you one.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Fantastic.
Cool.
What was left
What
in yours?
we kind of talked about it already.
We've covered. I think we've covered everything. I mean, you've told us who the main users of disco are. And why we have to why you'd have to be there if you create music, if you want it to reach music supervisors and A&Rs and people who make songs travel.
Yep. I
Uh,
guess this part I didn't talk about, which is an aggregation of catalogs like maps that I've shown, that feed of discovery based on song, but this is where all of the catalogs live. So this is like the marketplace. So this could also be for journalists. Now we're talking about your work. Like you could go in and see like, oh, what is the latest releases from Fire Talk? Go in and browse because they're mostly putting, new things in here. And then we have different supervisors or marquee rights holders that we feature here. So getting supervisors to share like what they're finding on Disco and what's interesting.
Is there a part like what you're saying, like to make it a bit more social? Because this looks like an incredible tool, easy to navigate, but usually social media platforms to make it more engaging and people to chat and stuff.
It's very much a B2B tool. So it's very much about the business, and it's about making people that work in the music industry, making their life more efficient and more creative.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have to spend that time looking through your email for the blast that you'd forgotten about or that you'd missed, and you could actually just get to the music faster, and you can actually be listening to it, experiencing, getting a sense of what that band actually feels like and looks like, then we've made your life better. So that's been the entire premise, is how do we make our users more successful? And then as a result, how do we make music more discoverable? So it's very much about on the industry side as opposed to on the social side. Now we have the buyers and sellers all on the one platform. So first of all, we took music out of email, and now we're looking at how we start doing the commercial transactions and the communication, then how that's going to be happening on platform as well. So with good AI, with the AI of actually surfacing and discovering music and making that an easier and more creative role, we can then speed up the process of people actually getting paid for the music that they create, and that's really the intention for Disco.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been it's a great way to end the Idea Showroom program of today. I look forward to becoming a very, very enthusiastic user of Disco as of now. Huh.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you all